Okay, subscribers, this is the Mongoose Tyax. This is Mongoose Jake here talking to you about the 2011 Mongoose Tyax, which you can snag these $650 bikes on clearance from many sellers right now for about $400. That is exactly what I did. Got it as a backup bike to back up my Valiant, and just in case, it's always nice to have a backup bike, because in case you have a failure on the trail that you have to wait on a part to be ordered, great to have a second bike just in case. That way you're not stopped for being on the trails. This bike is, like I said, a retail value of $650. Mongoose has made these for the past 2 years in this exact style. They had redesigned the frame in, it was either 2008 or 2009, and the 2011s and 2010s were the same. So if you see a deal on a 2010, go ahead and get it. The only difference is the 2011s went to a Suntour XCT crank and offered new color schemes. Biggest advantage of this bike is the frame. This frame, as you can see, they put some work into the down tube to make it enlarged at both the head tube junction and the bottom bracket junction. The very important strength areas that they did a very nice job. As you can see, the bend in the frame to help curve away from the fork, so you don't have fork dings and dents into the down tube if you accidentally turn too far, wreck, or just transportation damage. The head tube, they have done the same thing. This is actually very neat. They've widened it and flattened it out. It is flat and wide. They've done that all along, and then it turns to a rounder tube here to create a good junction. The rear end, they didn't do as much special work, but it's just quite simply overbuilt. They've overbuilt it. It resists flex very well, and they've even included rack mounts. So if you decide to use this as a commuter, you can put some slick tires on it, have a second wheel set with some slick tires maybe. That's what I intend to do myself. This will be my second trail bike and also a backup commuter bike. This fork, I've seen some errors in what people talk about this Suntour fork. The Suntour fork does not have a rebound adjustment. It has a preload, and this has a lockout. This is a compression lockout with a small amount of adjustments. You can firm your fork up or lock it out completely. And as you see, it has different dents. You may even hear the clicks. But that allows you to firm your fork a little bit and also lock it fully out. It does have a blow off, so if you hit a bump really hard, you're not going to damage your bike. Looking at the disc brakes. Another great feature of this bike at $650. Most bikes do not come with disc brakes. If they do, they come with mechanical disc brakes. This comes with the Tetra Aruga Comp disc brakes, which these things fly under the radar pretty much because they have great modulation and pretty decent power. Not the most powerful brakes on the market, but they modulate great, which is even more important because you don't want to ride a bike with brakes that are simply on and off switches. If you lock your wheel, you're not under control, you're skidding, you're sliding, you're out of control. And plus you're damaging the trail. Don't do that. That is definitely an issue. The Tetra Aruga was on the 2010s. Now they've renamed it to the Draco, or Draco. Your choice of how to pronounce that. So it went from the Aruga to the Draco, however you want to pronounce it. To the transmission of the bike, the drivetrain. We have a Sram X-7 rear derailleur that is being actuated by Sram X-4. Get this thing to focus. Sram X-4 shifters. This is a 24-speed bike. Has a 3x9 front, meaning 3 front chain rings, and 8 rear sprockets. Stay tuned for a upgrade special on this Tyax. I am going to upgrade it to become a pretty high level hardtail, and this will be changed out for the new 2012 Sram X-7 with the carbon fiber cage in a 9-speed version. I'm not going to test out the 10-speed just yet. I'm taking a wait and see approach on that. I'm more of a heavier rider that's a power rider, and I have heard some issues of chain stretching if you are that type of rider. It's a great 2x10 is a great way to get a nice tight shifting package, just like on a road bike, smoother shifting. But for now, I'm going to stick with the 9-speed or the 8-speed. I'm actually kind of old school on this. I love 8-speed. As long as it's well tuned, it will shift very cleanly and smoothly. 9-speed's a little better, and I'm going to stick with 9-speed. I will eventually go to 2x9 on this bike. But I'm leaving this crankset. This is Suntour's XCT model. I'm going to leave this crankset on this bike to test out its durability. At the end of the riding season, I will probably switch this out for an FSA 2x9 or a Sram 2x9. Stock pedals are still on. I've still left this bike completely stock. This has been testing. I wanted to get a good feel of the stock bike before I make all the changes. I already have most of my parts in. Actually, already in my parts bin, ready to be put on. This comes with a decent wheel set. It's an Alex wheel set. It's nothing I'm going to complain about. It's a little heavy, and it does have a little flex in it, but it's pretty reliable, and if you don't mind the weight, it will last you many years of good riding. And it does come with a good tire. I do not rate this as a great tire. This is a Kenda Small Block 8. It has their dual tread compound, which means the dual tread compound gives you a firmer rubber down the center section, softer rubber on the two sides. That way you have good rolling resistance and good grip. When you lean over, you hit into the softer rubber, which is tackier and grips better. It has a little bit of a ramp design on the knobs, kind of hard to see on the video, but it helps rolling resistance. The Mongoose branded parts that are on this bike are pretty good. They're a little heavy, but they're reliable units, such as the stem, the handlebar, and the seat post and saddle. They do their job, not going to complain, but these will all be pulled off in favor of a WTD saddle, and I'm going to go full originate from the cockpit of this bike. And the stock grips, they do their job. That's the best thing you can say about them. They will definitely be replaced for a better lock-on version. Again, I'm going to try originate entirely on this bike. Performance-wise, the bike handles very well. It's got 100mm travel fork, so it can handle pretty much anything that you throw at it. And as far as hardtail goes, it's kind of forgiving, but this frame is more designed to resist flex. That way it's actually a little harsh in situations, but what can you expect? It is called a hardtail. But the handle's good, has a decently low bottom bracket, so it sticks to corners fairly well. There's no flex anywhere in the frame, so again, it corners very well. The main issue is these tires. These are a small knob design that have a ramped edge, meaning it does not bite. If you're a good bike handler, I would suggest leaving this on the back. Going to if you love Kenda, go to a Navegal on the front or a Slant 6 and save this front tire as a spare for the back. Me, my favorite setup is the same as what's over here on my Valiant, which would be a Nano Raptor rear. Rolls just as fast as this Kenda, but bites a lot better in the corners. And I would put a Motor Raptor in the front, or if you're riding really loose trails, go for the Velociraptor set. It's a great set that definitely has its issues with rolling resistance, but it will give you the ultimate traction. Shifting performance is pretty good. Not going to complain. I'm only upgrading it so I can test out the new 2012 Sram X-7. But overall, I would give this bike stock form, which the only upgrades I've made so far is just simply adding a water bottle cage, because I'm still a water bottle fan. I wear a Camelback Rocket, but I still use a water bottle for various drinks, so I don't have to scrub out my Camelback all the time. And I put a Lizard Skins chainstay protector. Do not ride a bike without these. These things cut down on the noise. They protect your frame, and just all around help you color coordinate, which is something I really like. But this is the 2011 Mongoose Tyax, and overall, I'd give it a B. But stay tuned for other reviews, including a custom built Mongoose that is top of the line, a custom built single speed, which I'll show you how to build a single speed with good value, and also a nice little urban bike from Walmart. Thanks. Any comments that you want to have answered, leave them in the section below. Not just about the bike, but about anything to do with cycling. Thanks for watching my videos, and stay tuned for more.